It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Corinth Holders head football coach Adam Khavari. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Hope you are.
I'm doing good. Can you talk about your coaching experience?
Sure. So when I first got into coaching, I was a middle school football coach at a school in South Carolina, and then worked with a high school football program down there, James Island Charter, for the spring ball session of their workouts, and then came up here. We relocated to this area, and I was a middle school football coach from 2010 to 2012 rather, and then at Wake Forest Middle School, and got to coach Dexter Lawrence while I was there. That was pretty cool. And then went to Enloe High School as a defensive coordinator, and was there for several years with David Green and Steve Johnson, and then came here and was the assistant coach as a DB's coach, and then took over as a head coach 3 seasons ago.
Can you talk about your time at Corinth Holders?
Yeah, it's been great. I've loved being here. I live right down the road. I love our community. I love our parents and our families that I've gotten to know since I've been here. And my wife's family lives in this area, so I've really enjoyed getting to know the families in our community, and then obviously the staff members at our school, and our principal, Mr. Johnson's been great. So I've really enjoyed my time here so far.
Can you talk about what you've accomplished for the football team?
Yeah, so taking over, we kind of had an uphill battle, being one of the only or being the only school in Johnston County in our conference, in that 4A conference that we're in, and some of the things that we needed to get caught up with around our facilities and our equipment and things like that needed to get back on par with some of the schools, not only in our conference but also in our county, was a big deal for us. So trying to improve our infrastructure, get our weight room better, get our players' equipment updated, and get them in the best equipment we could get them, and then try to start with, upgrading our facilities, and that kind of thing is going to be the next thing we're going to start working on. So we've made a lot of headway in that department, and we're going to keep trying to be the best at whatever it is that we're setting our goals on. And then obviously on the field, we're still trying to get to a place that we want to be from a wins and losses standpoint, but I can see a big difference in the change in the culture of our players. I've been really pleased with the amount of players that we've been able to get into college to play football in the last couple seasons. This last year, we were able to get 4 guys in. The year before that, we were able to get 3 guys in, and at various levels from D1 all the way to D3. So, and with us not having very big senior classes in those classes, so 12 to 15 kids in those 2 classes, and a quarter of them are going to play college football, and really a lot more of them could have gone. They just wanted to do something else instead. So I've been really pleased with that part of it. And then beating Clayton last year for the first time, or the second time in school history, was a big accomplishment for our program, and we want to have more moments like that here, and create a legacy for our program moving forward, that we can be competitive in all our games and start bringing championships to the school.
Can you talk about some of the teams that you play in your conference?
Sure. I think we have a really, really difficult conference, and we have really good coaches in our conference. Wake Forest is a perennial powerhouse in our state now, and coached very well by Coach Lucas. They're always very, very sound defensively, and they run their offense about as well as you can run the wing tee out of the gun, and present a lot of problems with that. And Roseville with Coach Samick has really come on in the last year, and very, very athletic across the board, and are coached very well. And same at Nightdale with Coach Timmons, very athletic team. coached very well. And now with Heritage and Wakefield over in that area, those guys are doing a really good job as well. Heritage and Wake Forest seem to be at the top of our conference every year, battling it out, and we want to be up there in that same conversation with them. And with Wakefield coming on last year and making some noise at different times, they've got some good players there as well, and obviously got a lot of talent. So we got a tough conference. It's very deep, and they're coached very well.
Can you talk about some of the players that you have moved on to the college level?
Yeah, I mean, so the big name that a lot of people know around this area is Jacob Monk, who played for us and is now at Duke, starting on the offensive line. Started as a true freshman, and just a great person. Obviously, a really good football player, but a really great person. And then, we've Noe Gutierrez is playing some college football for us. Was here when I was still an assistant, and as I transitioned into being a head coach, we worked through getting Noe recruited and getting him the ability to play at the next level. Let's see, we have from this past season, Jordan White's at Campbell for us, Marcus Bland's at UNC Pembroke, Langston Robinson's at Bridgewater in Virginia, and Cambron Whitaker's at Methodist. So we've been able to get, several of our guys onto the next level that have the option or have the desire to want to play at the next level, and hopefully we can continue to do that.
Do you have any players in the professional level as of right now?
We don't, no.
What are y'all looking forward to accomplishing in the spring when football season comes back?
Yeah, we're excited to get back out there. Obviously we want to have a successful season, but at this point we're just happy that we have something to look forward to and something on our schedule that we can point to be able to play. Obviously we would prefer to be playing right now, but having the option to play in the winter is better than nothing, and we're real excited about that. Obviously we want to be competitive in our conference and try to get into the playoffs, and if we can do that this year, we'll be really happy.
When it first came out that we were going to spring football, what did y'all do to prepare your players for not knowing that they were going to be playing spring football?
Yeah, so when we got sent home in March, we kind of developed a plan to do as much as we could with every one of our players virtually, and carried that out until our county gave us the go-ahead after the state allowed it to begin our workouts. And we've been able to meet with them a little bit to do some in-person workouts. And we're hoping to continue that next week with another round of workouts with our guys. So hopefully we can see them in person and then continue to do some of the other things that we can't do with them in person virtually online.
Do you think on a recruiter aspect, would it be more easier to recruit players like from your high school in the spring if they played in the fall?
I think it's hard for me to say exactly what would work best for them. I know when they're in season, it's difficult for them to come out and see us. But if they are able to play in the fall and we're playing in the spring, it's certainly going to be a lot easier for them to come out and see us practice and that kind of thing. So depending on how everything shakes out, it may work in our favor to have some of our kids seen a little bit more than normal.
What advice would you give upcoming high school football coaches looking to get into coaching?
That's a great question. I think the more you can educate yourself on your craft, the better. So, early in my career, I went to a lot of clinics. I don't know that there's nothing wrong with clinics. I think clinics can be great. And if you take they always say if you take one thing away from a clinic, then it was a successful trip. I think what I would tell a lot of young coaches now is to find guys that you feel confident that what you're getting is good information, whether it's a high school coach, a college coach, a professional coach, whatever the case may be, and try to set up an opportunity to go meet and sit with them and just pick their brain and glean as much knowledge as you can from them. And then once you're on a staff, the other thing I would say is As a young coach, I had in my mind, had a lot of really good ideas, and I'm still a relatively young coach, but even as a younger coach, as an assistant, I thought I had all the best ideas, and I couldn't understand why we weren't always doing them a lot of the time, and it got, at times it would get frustrating, and I just didn't know any better because I was young and hadn't been in it long enough. But as a young assistant coach, the best thing that you can do as an assistant is have your group, your unit prepared to play at the highest possible level that they can be each and every week for your head coach. And then whatever the direction is that he wants to take the program, you run with it 100 miles an hour, and your kids will buy into what you're doing. And if you do it with enthusiasm, it'll be infectious to the people around you. And then if it's not the right fit for you, just make a move to go somewhere else. But wherever you're at, pull the line as tough as you can and build good relationships with people. This is a relationship business. And most of the time, it's not what you know, it's who you know that gets you to the next place that you want to be. But whatever job you're in, do it as hard as you can to the best of your ability, and you'll be okay.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media, along with Corinth Holders football at?
Yes, I don't have a personal social media, but our team social media is at Corinth Football on Twitter, and we're not on Instagram or anything else, but we are on Twitter. It's at Corinth Football.
Thank you again, Coach Adam, for your interview, and best of luck in this upcoming spring season.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.